They are actually addictive stimulants, and they have long-lasting toxic effect on our body. And they are very, very dangerous, and they are also being trafficked, and they are getting their ways to our children. And they have almost the same effect with what the ones that I've just said, where they have an effect on your heart. They could cause conversions and even death. And so many other effects: mental breakdown, dental problem, anxiety, depression, and all that. And these are some of the pictures of people who once used these chemicals. See how the face look like. Faces of meth. So to the next one, heroin. Heroin is a highly addictive drug. Overdose is real and very deadly. Heroin is an opiate. Opiates are things that sedate our body. It's actually a naturally derived product from a flower called poppy plant. Poppy plant. But scientists have gotten a way to make it through a synthetic chemical process as substitutes, and it is finding its way in our region. And you know very well, Mombasa is a drug hub. You might find this in our areas. Drug abuse here is very live, yeah? So you need to know about it. So this street word for heroin, people call it smack, horse, brown sugar, dope, slang, skunk, white horse, China white, Mexican black. What are the effects of heroin? When you've taken it, the first effect, it will start causing depression of your breathing. Then it causes you to get nausea and vomiting, especially for the first time. It has high risk of causing blood clots, especially that could travel to the lung and cause you get what we call pulmonary embolism, and you just die. And in long-term effect, it will have an effect on your heart. And you know, this thing is available in different ways. Some people sniff it, others put it in a syringe and they inject it. So we call them intravenous drug users. They are the key populations that we have. They are at high risk of hepatitis, risk of HIV, because the syringe they are using, they are sharing with the other addicts. So it's a risk factor to so many other things. Hepatitis, HIV, liver disease, all that, and even heart problem. And I've attached pictures of how a face of a person who has been on drugs looks like. So as I said, when you are starting, drugs have an effect on your physical body and your mind. Physically, you will change. With the use of these drugs, you will not remain the youthful, beautiful look that you have. You'll change to look like a 1950 person. Sawa. So, as I said, use of this could result to, it could be fatal using these drugs, especially overdose of heroin. So the next one is called cocaine. It's also just related to heroin, and it's also one of the most trafficked products coming from the Latin America. And it finds its way into our country. And you've had so many people who have been into drug and they've been arrested for this, for trafficking this. It's a salt. It comes from a plant we call coca plant. It causes stimulation of our brain towards a natural reward system and causing it to be a highly addictive drug. The word for the street word is blow, pump, caddy, cherry, coke, snow. So just be on the lookout for such ones. If you see it presented in a gum, presenting in any form, if it's a drug, just avoid it and learn very fast. So the short-term effects, it causes an increase on your heart rate, increases your blood pressure, causes an increase in your temperature, may cause you to go into convulsions, may result you to a cardiac arrest, and you could die. Long-term effects, psychotic behavior. Many people been on cocaine becomes cheesy, and usually it's irreversible. Damage to parts of your body, you get into depression, agitation, and all this related to use of these drugs. And you know, cocaine-related deaths are so many, and as a result of cardiac arrest, and then respiratory failure. People don't have the ability to breathe. So there's something else we call crack or cocaine, which is just almost the same effect as cocaine. I'll jump that. Then, nowadays, we are having newer drugs that we call ecstasy. These are drugs that otherwise have been used in warfare in the 1960s, but now they are finding their ways in our country. And they have so many bad effects, just the same as I said in cocaine and heroin. The LCDs are also chemicals. I may not really go into them, but they are found in the streets, and they could be found to be sold to the teenagers. So I wanted to focus much more again on what we call prescription drugs, because these are easy to get. And currently there's a campaign going around where pharmacies are being audited to see if they are selling drugs that are meant to be used in the hospital to patients who deserve them, but they are finding their way to people who want to abuse them. Examples are drugs that would otherwise have a good effect to your body, maybe someone who is sick, but when they are abused, they will resort to physiological dependence. And there are very, very many. And we are finding this an increase in this because now I think there's a campaign against drug abuse. So cocaine and heroin is not, there's a scarcity of this. So pendlers are looking for other ways to keep their best. They want to be in business, yeah? So they are going for this prescription medicine and giving them out. I think I'll share a video because it is so common. People are abusing things like codeine, which is found in cough syrups, and they want to take a cough syrup to feel high. Yeah, a drug that should not, and when you get addicted to it, you not come out of it. So there are very serious health risks in taking this prescription medicine because they're only supposed to be given by a doctor under instruction, and they should be closely monitored to avoid addiction. So examples of these drugs, this one we call Varium, amodiazepam, and it's found in our chemists, and people who tend to use it to get sleep. But others will now get used to it and they want to use it every day. The others, like painkillers, we call tramadol. They are supposed to be used only for a short time where you're in the hospital when you have some severe pain, but it has some other effects. So some tend to continue using it, and you get dependent on it, and it becomes like just using banging. There are other drugs, like I said codeine. We find it in cough syrups, and it's supposed to depress or suppress cough, but it has the other unwanted effect of mental depression. So you need to avoid use of that. Don't be lured into using a cough syrup in the name of I want to get high. You not get out of that. Okay. Then I also needed to talk about other drugs that people abuse. We say drug abuse have effect on our physiological and mental, and this group of drug we call anabolic steroids. You all know them. Umesikia a certain sprinter ama marathoner amekuwa dropped out from sports because ameshikwa na doping. For people who dope, people are using anabolic steroids. Some people use them to become bodybuilders. Yeah, this also have an effect in your in your body. Very, very bad effect. And as you said, as they are being used by athletes, bodybuilders, to enhance performance and improve the physical appearance. You want to get muscles. But this will have a long-lasting effect on your body. So don't try them. There's so many effects for a female or a male, an adolescent, or both. Especially if for an adolescent, it will interfere with your growth. Our body is supposed to grow naturally through the stimulation of hormones, and these hormones are particularly well regulated in the natural process. So by you using this steroid, you interfere with that normal growth process. And that causes premature skeletal maturation, accelerating puberty changes, risk of reaching expected height if steroid not precede this physical effect on what you call growth spurts. You'll have so many abnormal appearances if you use them. So, I'm sure we've all heard about drugs and their effect to the people we know. We celebrate people, we call them celebrities. And I've gone international to show people we've known. Maybe these are old people for our times and times of our teachers that died because of the use of drugs. One notable one is Michael Jackson. Mnamjua? Yeah, so this guy died of a drug we call Propofol. He died at the age of 50. He's a performer, so he had to take this Propofol to perform non-stop for 10 hours. Yeah? You know a lady called Whitney Houston, was a singer and actress. He was a drug addict. He used to use cocaine. He died of a heart disease at the age of 48. Yeah? I'm sure hata hapa Kenya mnajua a few of them, si ndio? So effect of drugs now to unborn children. A mother who is on drugs is likely to get miscarriages, get premature births, low birth weight, and other many developmental problems. So what are the consequences of drug use in our society? If people are using drugs in this society, what will happen? Use of drug is a crime, first of all. So if you are caught in possession, drug use, drug trafficking, drug manufacturing, it's a crime. It increases crime in many ways. People are using drugs, need money to buy this drug. So you find them participating in theft. Most of these more crimes that you hear, people snatching phones, the pete thieves is because they want to continue funding the drug abuse. They find themselves going into robbery, break-in, and motor vehicle theft, and even murder, because drug will interfere with your able of reasoning, and you are causing injury on someone even without knowing. So it will result, if you are caught, you'll be in jail, fines, and failed relationship. Addiction now is the worst, because you cannot come out of it. Your life is lost. So finally, as I come to the conclusion, drug abuse is preventable. Drug addiction is treatable, but we don't want to get there. Prevention is better than, so we better prevent. The reason we are here is so that we know how these drugs, what are the drugs, how they could come to us, and what is the effect of these drugs if they are taken in our body, so that you can make a wise choice. So you're here to make wise choices, to be productive adults. Great. So as young people, try your level best to be away from drugs, because once you're in drugs, it will be very, very difficult for you to come out of it. So say no. Kuna slogan inasema tunaweza wakilisha bila steam. You don't have to be under steam to be present, yeah? Si huwa tunafika tunasema tumefika, si ndio? You're in school, you want to feel. Umefika your teenage age where you want to have a sense of belonging. Yeah? You don't have to be on drugs to appear cool or appear good. You can be cool without the drugs. Sawa sawa. So if someone is using drugs, what are we supposed to do? Refer them to a counselor, refer them to a doctor, so that at least at the very early stages, the drug abuse can be stopped and medical assistance can be given to avoid long-term effects. So it's also worth sharing some of the pictures because not so good for those who have been on drugs. Yeah? Even sudden deaths, and people go to the extent of injecting themselves at different parts of our body, and it's not so good. So I've come to the end of my presentation. I'll be available for questions. So anyone who has a question? Anyone who would wish to have more clarification? Okay. Rhoda is asking, one day, one of her friends gave her a sweet. She bit into it, and inside she found a powder. So she became suspicious that maybe this sweet has been laced with drugs. So she's asking, what could have been inside this sweet? Okay, I'm not very sure, but as I said, there's these new things that are coming. The synthetic salts that are drugs, we call them LSDs. There are many of them, like Kubel, so many things. They have effects, and you find them being presented in many ways. As I said, some are powder, others could be raised in biscuits, others could be in sweets. So it could be either of the synthetic drugs, and yours should be, if you suspect this is not fine, avoid it in the first place. Okay? Another question? Yes. I'm sure you're all wondering. But these are real things, and they are happening. They are happening. So this is something very new, and that it is taking place in our schools, in our recreation centers. They have a word for it, bat crogging or bat something. And in our check. We call them those areas, the private parts, the vagina and the anus. They are very good supply of blood. Many blood vessels are there. So, I've also earned it, and I've seen pictures of this and videos of this. A girl will take a tampon, put it in a bottle of vodka. The tampon will soak, and then she'll take it and put it down there. And then the alcohol will absorb into the bloodstream. The first point of blood flow goes straight to the system, meaning to the brain, and someone will become highly intoxicated, because that process of taking this chemical substance, bypassing the liver system, which could have been mouth, stomach, liver, then now to the brain. It has bypassed all these other stages. It has gone straight to the brain. So it gives you high level of intoxication, and is actually sometimes deadly. Very, very deadly. It will give you a small dose of alcohol put in that manner could result to even instant death, because you are taking a high dose of that straight to your brain, and it will cause so many effects. Same case with those who put it and in our anus, which is too very well vascular. It has so many blood vessels, so most of it is absorbed so quickly into our bloodstream and to your brain, and it is very dangerous. So that is true, and it is happening. So if someone is trying to avoid maybe appearing drunk by not taking it, and you want to put it somewhere else just to feel high, it is very dangerous. It could cause instant death.
Okay, my question is, like for instance, with high schoolers, there is this thing which is trending whereby they say, like, before exams, for instance, before you take your examination, you take like a roll of bang, and then you go and read, and then your content it has stick kwa kichwa, ukienda kwa exam unapita. Is that thing true?
I want to come back to where we started with our classification of drugs. Bang is under the classification of drugs called depressants. What does depressants do to our brain? Depresses, meaning it slows down the brain and the central nervous system. So biologically, that is not true. You might just feel the euphoria that I've read and it is going to stick, but that is not true. Biologically, we'll actually have memory loss. You will not even have the ability to even absorb that content. So that is not true. Bang is antidepressant. It will slow even your ability to, to even listen. You can't even remember what you read. So that is not true. Another question.
Yes, so my question was, how can you know that someone is withdrawn and not sick? How can you tell this, like the symptoms in which someone is withdrawn because of drugs and not because they're sick?
A very good question. To clarify is that withdrawal symptoms presents with signs like of a sick person. Many patients who come to us either having with sudden withdrawal of alcohol will come with tremors. Others will come with sudden loss of consciousness. Others will come vomiting. Those who have withdrawn the hand drugs like heroin, cocaine, come to us with very severe abdominal pains. And we see that like a prisoner who has been arrested and is in prison and does not have access to cocaine, heroin, or these other stuff, they start having very heavy diarrhea. So how will you differentiate between this being a withdrawal symptom to a normal organic disease? As a doctor, we take good history. What have you been using? Have you been in constant use of drugs? And maybe have you and withdraw of this substance? So you go to that, then we'll do some lab investigations. Someone come with diarrhea, you may take samples of their stool and confirm maybe if there are other maybe organism in their the germs that could be found in stool. And if everything else is negative, then surely you'll be sure that this is a person who has withdrawal symptoms. So basically it's about taking good history and looking out for the signs and symptoms of a person who would be a drug user. A drug user will have so many injection sites on their body, and you see, even if they are not saying the truth, there's a possibility this could be a drug or a substance drug abuser. Can I have another question? Come again?
And you charge the pen.
Oh, yes, I mentioned about that. I said nowadays nicotine or tobacco is coming in different fancy states. People are coming out from the traditional smoke, cigar, to an electric pen. Cigar or this device that looks like a pen. They put tobacco, and through the energy generated by the battery, it burns the cigar, and it gives you the nicotine dosage without having to produce smoke. So it's a new approach to smoking without having to see the smoke. But I can tell you, it has the same effect as someone who is taking cigarettes.
But I heard that there's even a strawberry flavor.
Exactly. All those are things that they put it on that to make it look appear nice. Strawberry is just a flavor. Like in our yogurt, you put strawberry, vanilla. But the active ingredient is tobacco, which is the thing you want to avoid. So the strawberry make you, or may just coat it to appear nice, but the active ingredient is actually tobacco, which has the same negative effect as that of smoking. So I have another question. What if someone goes to the rehab and does not manage to be discouraged from drug abuse or substance? So maybe this is how I understand it. Can someone go to a to a rehabilitation center and may fail to get help? The answer is yes. Rehab centers do accept people who have accepted they need help. For you to go to a rehab, you must say, now I want to surrender my life. I want to go and seek help to get away from alcohol or maybe substance abuse. So if you go to a rehab center and because you've been forced, you do not have the interest to actually change from it, you not manage. You still go out and go back to your own ways of substance abuse. So that's one of the main way. Then two, rehab will only be able to help you in like getting away the craving from your substance abuse. As we said, drugs will have an effect on your mind and your body. Rehab will only maybe help you a bit in taking care of your mind. The body, if the damages and already taken place, if you've gotten to the level of liver cirrhosis, those stages are irreversible. Just go and seek medical treatment and see at least if you can live the few days, because liver cirrhosis is an end-stage disease. So I think my question is answered.
My question was, what are the effects of caffeine to human body?
Caffeine.
Yes.
Good. So I'll come back to where we classified the drugs. Caffeine is under the class of stimulants. Stimulants speed up our body and the central nervous system. Caffeine is not very bad in small doses. Caffeine is present in the tea, in the coffee, in the energy drinks we take. You know that, eh? So in small quantities, no much effect. It just makes us active and just have our normal day-to-day activities. So we said in high concentrations, like what we find in energy drinks, it could have effects in our heart. It could have effect on our level of concentration. It could have effect on our memory. So that's the effect if in large quantities. In small quantities, like the way what we take in coffee or tea, there's not much effect. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay. Wako sawa.
Thank you very much for and I'm sure that at least you'll have something from my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Daktari, for giving us that detailed explanation of what drugs are, that is giving us information and then telling us what the effects are on our lives. We want to appreciate him. What do we give him? Flowers, eh? Okay, you can raise your hands. You collect the flowers, collect the blue ones. Those who are not collecting, hey, I'm looking at you. Collect the blue ones, collect the red, collect the yellow, collect the green. We have green flowers, and the purple ones, collect them, collect, and then you give. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. I have written around 8 pages. Yeah. That is how much he has spoken. 8 pages. So if you want notes, you can come. Okay. As a teacher, we normally notice when someone is on drugs. You are teenagers and your face is supposed to glow. It is supposed to look the most handsome or the most beautiful at this stage. But when we start seeing signs of aging, you look older than your age. Then your lips are turning black, they are drying up, they are cracking, and then you are withdrawn. We have the ability to just notice that you are using drugs. You might deny. Your parent may say you are the most cool kid at home, but we are able to notice. So you will be able to trick your parents for some time. Like we had a boy who in the morning he would wake up, he washes dishes at home, he cooks breakfast, and then he comes to school. So the mother was the most proud mother. Then when he comes to school at around 9, he takes the drugs. Then during the day, he's intoxicated up to around 4. When he's about to go home, he's very sober. Then he goes home and the mother is very happy. So there's one day we called the mother, told her, just come around 11, 12 there. So she came and then we told her, sit here with your son, a very handsome boy. By the way, you are very beautiful and handsome. So we told her, stay here with your son. He was a Form 3. Give him a full scarf and a pen. Tell him to write a letter to his dad. Because he used to write geography, biology, mathematics in the same notes for the same teacher. Those high schoolers know that we only have biology teacher, geography teacher. So he could write physics, waves, he writes geography and everything in the same book. So it means something had gone wrong. So the mother discovered that the son had gone astray. So you might manage to cheat, but the body will start giving in. You will start giving in after some time, and then your life will not be the same again. So allow yourself to look the most handsome and the most beautiful when you are a teenager. Your face glows. It looks nice. But when you are using drugs, it starts sucking life out of you. So you start changing your looks, and then also you become uncoordinated and you cannot study. God bless you so much for listening. You have been good listeners and you have asked questions. We would like to go for break, but Pastor Rhoda has something to tell us before we go for break. She's running, so we can wait for her. She will tell us what she has for us. God bless you, Dr. Robin, so much for that information. You clap.
Thank you, Teacher Glad.